Hello and welcome to your cooking lab, which we'll be making monkey bread today. The equipment you will need for this lab is one loaf pan. If you are in class, yours will be about half the size of this. A flat-edged spatula, a chef's knife, measuring spoons, measuring cups, a large bag, a cutting board, a pan, and a spoon to stir. If you are in classroom, all of this stuff will be available to you. You don't need to bring anything in. The ingredients for this lab will be 1/4 cup of butter, cinnamon, sugar, white processed sugar, 5 biscuits, and brown sugar. The first thing we are going to measure out is our white processed sugar and our cinnamon. We will need our bag for this. You're going to take your big bag and you're going to fold over the top edge so that it kind of sits nice on its own. You are then going to open up your sugar lid, and the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, from a previous lab that I just filmed, I don't have my 1/4 cup, but I do have a 1/8 cup. So I'm going to use 2 1/8 cups. Now, when measuring sugar, you're just going to scoop down in, make sure that it's overflowing. Take your flat-edged spatula and you are going to draw it across to even it out. 1, 2. Now, if you have your 1/4 cup measure, you would just do one of these. You're then going to put your lid back on, put your sugar to the side. Then you need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. This is a teaspoon. This is a tablespoon. The way I like to remember it is that a cup of tea sits on top of the table, so that you remember that the table is larger than the cup of tea, or the tablespoon is larger than the teaspoon. We need 2 teaspoons. So you're going to scoop down in to the bowl, the supply bowl, and you are going to level off the same way. 1, 2, and place in your bag. Put that to the side. Now it's time for us to cut our biscuits. So you are going to take your biscuits and a cutting board. All of this is in your lab station. And I like to lay them out like this. This is a chef's knife. It comes in this sheath to keep us safe when carrying it around. When you go to remove it from its sheath, please remove the sheath from the knife. Don't pull the knife from the sheath, because you may hit something or someone. So if you just hold your hand steady, pull the sheath off. When cutting, we want to keep our fingers out of the way. We're going to give a nice grip. I like to put my thumb on top. Or sometimes I pinch here. But when you take foods in high school, we learn more about this. But you're just going to take the knife, and we always do tip down and then rock in. So you're going to tip down, rock in, and cut your biscuit in half, and then cut your biscuit in half again. Throw the 4 pieces into the bag. Another way you can do it is to tack 2 on top of each other, point down, cut, point down, cut. So I'm cutting it into 4ths, and then if you do the stack, it kind of pushes them together a little bit, so you have to separate your pieces again and throw them in. At this point, you're going to want to give your bag a little bit of a shape. And then you're going to cut your last two. That just reduces the amount that the biscuits stick to each other. You're then going to seal up your bag and give this a very good shakeroo. Get every piece coated with the cinnamon and sugar. And place that to the side for right now. Next, we need to measure out 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Brown sugar is a little different from the cinnamon and the plain white processed sugar in the way that we measure it. So when you are measuring brown sugar, you're going to take your 1/4 cup, measuring cup, and you're going to scoop it down in and press it into the measuring cup. Press it very, very hard into the measuring cup. You're then going to take your flat level spatula and scrape off and even out that top piece. It looks a little bit like sand right now. And it acts the same way. So when I dump it out, it holds its shape. Next, we'll be moving to the stove. All right, on the stove, we have our small pan, and I have my spoon ready. The first thing we're going to do is turn on our stove. You're going to turn your stove to number 5 or medium heat. Once you have your stove on, and please make sure that you're using the right burner, you are going to place in your butter. We're going to start to get that to melt. As our butter is melting, is beginning to melt, we are then going to put in our brown sugar. And we're going to start to stir. This is going to melt the brown sugar into the butter and create a syrupy mixture. And you want to keep it moving because you don't want it to burn, but you want all the sugar clumps to be dissolved and your butter to be nice and melted. While that finishes up melting, don't go too far, you don't want to walk away, but you are going to come back over to prep your pan. To prep your pan, you are going to take the cooking spray and you're going to lightly spray the pan. You don't want to soak it, you just want to lightly spray it. So you shouldn't see drips. Once your pan is prepped, you're going to take your biscuit mixture and you're going to pour all of it into the loaf pan and kind of arrange it around. Then you are going to take that brown sugar mixture that you made and slowly pour it on top across the whole loaf. You're then going to take this and place it in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until finished. Once your loaf pan is in the oven, you are going to wash and dry all of your dishes. Once you have finished this video, you are going to be doing the follow-along questions within the Nearpod. Good luck. Message me with any questions.